Good afternoon, everybody. We'll do it a little different. First of all, thank you very much for coming over. It's a significantly large day in our lives. It's a little tough, but I have this huge responsibility to represent my family and all the people that my father touched in his life, and to come and moderate this panel. So Professor Verma, Subir Verma, I don't see him in the room, but he pretty much messed up the whole Indian cricket team. So we've now got the responsibility to hit the ball out of the park, and we do not have too much time. But I have a bunch of really big players in the room, and I think that we will not do a very bad job. Thank you very much to my esteemed panelists for being over here. I have 40 minutes to do, and I told Subrat that I will take 50 because I take decisions in my family, in my career, etc. So I definitely, if Subrat tells me 40, I'll do 50. He already told me 30, I would have said 40. So, but we'll try to keep it that way. Before I kick this off, I want to share a few things about my father, which a lot of you do not know. And let me first start with something very interesting. How many of you know that till he was about 45 years of age, he never wore any socks which was not white in color. He always wore white socks. Till at the age of 45, and somebody told him that, he was in a training session, and somebody said that the worst dressed person in the room is Dr. Singh because he wears white socks every day. But I wear white socks all my life, and you all can see that. And that's a tribute to my dad. That's what he taught me. So that's one. The second thing was he never brushed his teeth and never shaved on a Sunday if he was at home. Never. And my mother and all of us used to make fun of him, but unfortunately, he gave that habit also back to me. So I do not brush and I do not shave on Sunday. So that's something that I do. And I of course tell my family that, if my dad could do it, he was an alpha male, why should I not do it? So that's the second thing. And the third thing that I want to tell you all, which a lot of you might not know, he used to travel about 15, 20 days in a month. He had a large family to support. Financially, we were in a little bit of a, when you have a large family, professor, you can do only X. In fact, somebody was just telling me that, would you want to be a professor? I said, I love the profession, but I don't think I can do it because, the Momaya of the world will not get me to leave my corporate job and go ahead and do this. So he used to wake us up at about 5:30 in the morning, 5:30. All six of us used to wake up. He used to give us tea. All of us never, in my family, nobody drinks, nobody smokes or has alcohol. But all of us are big tea drinkers. And at 5:30 in the morning, he used to get up and he used to give us all the gyan of life. And my mother used to really be crazily mad with him. Why are you giving my children tea in the morning? But all of us became HR professionals, and I'm the black sheep of my family. Ashanti will be able to talk about that, but there was a bunch of people who thought that I could never get anywhere. I got somewhere in life. But I continue to be the black sheep in my family. Those are a function of some madness in the man called Dr. Vipul Singh. He was so committed to give the right values to his children that he would wake us up at 5:30 in the morning, and he broke the tradition of giving milk, etc. He taught us that. He continued to be that. My long hair, somebody who's from XLR, I will say, it will be a tribute to him. Unfortunately, I don't have turtlenecks, or else I would be wearing that. So these are some of the things that I wanted to share about my dad. Some of you know this, some of you do not know this. But I want to, before I kick this off, I want to welcome my esteemed panel. Some of them, by the way, please pardon me if I call somebody. These are people whom I have known. Some of them have been like father figures. Very close to my dad, very emotional as I talk about them. But so please pardon me if my tongue slips and I say uncle or something. I'll try not to, but I will. So Dr. Chaturvedi, Samveri, none of them need introduction, so I won't take time. Dr. Chaturvedi, Dr. Ravi, Dr. Manav, from Manav, Rachna, Dr. Srivastva, and Professor Metri. These are people who are known in the industry, known in the academic world, known to all of you. So I won't take too much time talking about them. I don't want to get into too much details about what I think about the topic, so I'll just straight away get into the subject. But I had a few things that I wanted to ask. And I want to go first with Professor Metri. In this country, Professor Metri, you know, if you can't become an engineer, you can't become a doctor, you can't become a lawyer, you can't become a management graduate, so you become a teacher. That's what, you know, they say now, because, you know, it continues to be a significantly large problem in this country in terms of investment into the education system. You know, what are your views? What do you think? You know, what is it that educational institutions are doing to actually get the right talent to churn out better talent for this country? Any views you have on that?
Thank you, Vipul. Thank you very much. It is a very good question. And I must say that this was the trend. If you don't get anywhere, then you will become a teacher. It used to happen. But in last 10, 15 years, if you see, there is a reverse trend. Large number of industry people, they are coming to academics. And also you must say that nowadays, Government of India and even autonomous institutions, they have created a post called Professor of Practice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Professor of Practice is there. If you see all autonomous institutions, whether IIMs and IITs, all they are created, and you find large number of people joining from industry. Even, of course, when Sir was there, MDI was the Makkah for professionals. You know, those who worked in industry, they used to come. And he was the first one started, even though Professor of Practice was not coined by Government of India. Any IITs and IIM, but MDI was first one to do. But nowadays, if you see, there is a even advertisement institute website, it is already there. And also, particularly in business schools, there is a lot of incentives for publication and for teaching, consulting, and assignments. Even IIM Nagpur recently, we are a person who was getting crores of rupees from one of the top-notch private company. He is joining IIM Nagpur in January with a small amount of money, but he decided to lay down his office because enough is enough. Beyond the limit, he said, no, I want sufficient, but I want to pursue my passion. So like that, people are coming back, and this is the trend, I think.
So basically, this gives us, you know, I think one of the things that the schools should do is that they should let the world know a little bit more about it, so that we get a bunch of people, you know, a lot of people who do not know about it, so that there's the hope for me to get into education at some point of time. You know, so that's something. I want to come to Dr. Chaturvedi. You know, I'll try to keep it very fast, guys. You know, so I don't want to ask the same question to everybody, but we'll try to cover as much as possible. And Dr. Chaturvedi, this one is for you. You know, traditionally, there's a lot of touch and feel which happens in a business school. When I was a student also, if you know, there was huge amount of marks for attendance, you know, case studies, people getting into rooms together, you know, doing night outs, etc., to a point where we are seeing everything being done virtually through technology. And of course, there are challenges around it. There are a huge amount of advantages around it. You know, what do you think has been the impact for educational institutions? That's number one. Secondly, the quality of talent that's being churned out by the schools, and which will get into the industry. And thirdly, and most importantly, what do you think is going to be the future basis the experiment of the last 18 odd months? I use the word experiment because it has its own positives.
So 3 questions together, and
I'm trying to be faster.
Sorry, I would not take much of time. First of all, I would like to say that the future of business education will face a lot of new trends, and last 19 months have created an epidemic change in the whole scenario, because the technology has made a big difference in a global pandemic. And now we have realized the potential use of technology in higher education. Till March 2020, there was technology in higher education and business schools, but it was on margin. Now the technology is on the mainstream, and there are promises, big opportunities. By using technology, we can improve the quality, we can connect very well with our students, and we can bring industry experience inside the classroom, which was not earlier possible. So I think the future of higher education is bright because of the technological disruption, because of the disruption caused by epidemic. Secondly, you asked me that what kind of talent is being supplied by the higher education institutions. I think it's a mixed story. We have large number of institutions with poor quality, but there are top institutions in all disciplines like management, medical sciences, engineering, which are producing world-class talents, and those students from these top institutions are being recruited by the multinational corporations. They are doing very well. So my thought is that teaching profession is also undergoing big change, and all these factors together, put together, creating a big difference to the quality of management education in India particularly.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chaudhary. I pretty much, I'm a recruiter also in some form or the other. I would not say that we have actually hit the nail on the head as we go and look for talent in the marketplace, but I think we're making some good inroads. I think that's why I use the word experiment, because I think this is going to be the future. And I clearly see that, this is going to have huge amount of opportunities for business school. Professor Ravi, this one is for you. This is some crazy amount of data that I was researching as I was going to talk to you guys. I was surprised that 15.6% of the management postgraduates across the world actually are churned out by this country. And then there's a corresponding report from McKinsey which says that India has the largest shortfall from a talent supply chain of management school, from management graduates. Vis-a-vis, we see technology graduates. Of course, medical is a little bit more than management, to be honest. Why is it that, what is it that you see from a quality standpoint that could really get to the next level with the leveraging of technology to ensure that, the quality of graduates that are coming out are becoming more relevant to the industry? How can technology help? What are your views? What is your school doing? What is AICT doing? What is the government of India doing? Et cetera, and et cetera. I can go on.
Thank you so much, Vipul. First of all, let me thank the organizers and the team, Dr. Pritam Singh Foundation, for having me on this platform. Such a privilege it is to be with the two gurus already, on campus, on the podium, on the stage here. And Guru, giving Ashirwad from wherever he is now. It's a loaded one, basically. Again, because we have to make some controversial, comments maybe. See, when education sector started expanding, growing big, we had on one side very, very high quality institutions, centers of excellences, churning out some of the top, talent pool. And on the other hand, we had the mushrooming of, institutions which perhaps could not measure up to the expected quality. Now, in terms of numbers, when you look at the number of graduates we generate are really humongous, but the quality, institutions, if you put all IIMs and IITs together, the graduates generated are very less in number. On the other hand, you have 80% of the institutions where the chunk of the graduates with degrees come in, but they have their own challenges of skill gaps and stuff like that, and hence the employability challenge comes in. Now here comes the interesting aspect of where technology can work, how it can help. We have all experienced. We have at our institutions at individual levels, we have experimented with that and found a fair amount of success. We could reach out to larger audience with greater connect and content during the pandemic, and going forward, this is going to be a boon for us, for higher education institutions. Now, and I am Nagpur, or I am Tirchi, or BIMTech can actually, or MDI can actually engage larger audience, bigger classes, more students, and impart excellence when compared to the lesser privileged or less endowed institutions. There is a shakeout pending. So we are going to see a huge shakeout post this pandemic, where we'll see, institutions which are not up to the mark, kind of going out of the race. And more institutions of excellence, as more institutions of eminence will pop up. And technology is going to play a great role. Now, there are three aspects that I just want to,
We'll have to be
highlight.
a little conscious of time.
Just a minute. I say, what we have experienced in the last 18 months is a shift in the mode of education delivery. So we have adopted technology very, very quickly, which we earlier thought it may take 5 years. We have done it in 1.5 years. In fact, we have adopted it in 5 months, and then we have already matured now, most of the institutions. But what is lacking or what is due is the shift in the mode is done. Method and model has to be worked on. The kind of pedagogy that is used has to be really, rethought, reimagined. And the program structure has to be reimagined. Now, these three, mode, method, and model shift can only complete the entire continuum. I think these are my opening thoughts. Thank you so much.
That's very good. But, of course, I have a point of view, and which is the industry point of view, is that, number one, I don't think there's a problem only with the graduation system. There's a problem also with the higher education, which I say postgraduate system. So that's definitely which is there. Also, the quality of investment that is coming into these schools needs to be supported by the quality of educators in this market. I think that's where we as recruiters think that there is a little bit of a challenge. I'll come back to you because I have some points of view on this, but I want to go back to Dr. Srivastva, So over the last, and this is a little personal for you, and we'll have to keep it very, very short, but in my father's last big assignment in his last 4 or 5 years was that, he was associated with your university. And, of course, you're not a management school director. You're in some form or the other doing a little bit more than management education. So I just want to talk about just management. What do you think are your views on what's happening on the education system as you were setting up the school? What is it that, my father thought that, would be the future of, and what he told you, because he was very involved in what the future would look like. Of course, he was one of the biggest critiques of the IIM system. Sorry, Dr. Metri, but it is what it is. So, what some views from you?
Thank you, Vipulji, for asking such a wonderful personal question. And today is a very auspicious day for each one of us sitting in this hall. First, my compliments and greetings to all of you for Guru Parab, then Dev Deepavali, and then Dr. Singh's birthday. And I remember so very well, yes, we can clap for Dr. Singh's birthday. On the same day, year 2019, we celebrated his birthday on campus in a big way, and we celebrated and we enjoyed. I must say that the point which you are asking, if I look at the panoramic picture of our country and across the globe, if roughly I say that 15,000 odd or 16,000 B schools across the globe, more than 1/4 you find in our country. And if you look at the geography of our country and diversity of it, we can divide all the B schools in our country in 3 zones. One set of them, they fall in quartile 1 called the compliance zones. The another set of B schools, they fall in the zone of excellence. And third one, they fall in the zone of innovation. So each one of them, they have their own set of challenges and they have their own set of commitments. So how they are preparing their students and how they are ensuring that they are taking their respective mind to the market and how they are ensuring the sustainability model, that is again the bigger question, and that is what we need to address as a leader. And while talking to you all about Dr. Singh, he always taught to us in his last 5+ years of his stay at Manav Rachna, he always says, high vision brings, high Himalayan vision brings Himalayan energy. And I'm happy to share with you all that last Saturday, he used to say that Sanjay, one day will come when you guys will get a Rashtrapati medal from Rashtrapati ji. And he said this 4 years back, it happened last Saturday. Our university, we got Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar, Dronacharya Puraskar for the cricket, and Arjuna Award is given to one of our students. So it is one of his learning and belief that if you have a Himalayan vision, you will get Himalayan energy. I stop here when you give me next opportunity, I'll talk more about him. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Srivastva. And first of all, congratulations. When I was reading this, I saw a picture of in the Hindu, with all the awards. And when I saw this picture, I felt extremely proud and very emotional about it. So thank you very much. Dr. Chaturvedi, this one is for you. And I'm picking up from what Dr. Ravi spoke. The ed tech industry is about 600 to 700 million today. It's truly driven by technology. If you look at what ed tech is all about, and it's expected to grow to about $3 billion over the next 3 to 5 years. There's huge amount of investment coming in. Every big player is getting into this. I will ask I'll build, actually, this was 2 different questions, but I'll build it for you, and who better than you? If you look at it, management schools, from a 24-month MBA, now it's getting into a 12 to 15-month kind of a system where people are doing this. Ed tech companies want to do something like this, very, very focused, very, very niche, purely driven by technology. And there's going to be some high touch because, you're going to get them from their works into a school and put them together. So it's a very good mix of high tech, high touch. How do you think this will impact the education system, first of all, in this country? How do you think education schools like yours are getting ready for that? And what is it that you are going to do counter this, or there's going to be some amount of shakeout in the system? And thirdly, are we ready to take on this huge amount of investment which is coming in terms of dollars in this space?
I think you have raised a vital question, and it is being said that India has become the hotspot for edtech.
Yes.
And sometimes when something becomes very popular, mistakes are made. So I foresee that some positive things will happen to the education sector of India. Our school students, our higher education students will get more opportunities. Those who are living in tier 2 or tier 3 cities, remote villages, remote places, EdTech will provide them opportunity to access quality education. And the B schools like us will also learn a lot from the EdTech. And we have started working with them. My institute has partnered with Upgrade, one of the unicorn, to offer a 2 years online MBA program. It has got an early success. But at the same time, I would like to say that in the financial sector and in the business, it happens then that whenever something gets success, early success, good success, then many of the people, unscrupulous players take the entry and they want to make big money very fast. So this tendency of making big money very fast will be the big danger before the edtech industry. And I think the way some of the players are trying to create options in management education, that is, I think, create some suspicion and some doubts about their success. And here I would like to say that assuring or offering a courses of 1 year, 15 months, 12 months, there are issues related to the governance and regulation of higher education. You cannot give MBA degree in less than 2 years, online also, and offline also. But in the market, some players are coming, of course, not from EdTech, but some startups are coming. And one startup, a big article has been written in Kane online magazine. One of the board members forwarded it to me, and I forwarded to my faculty members, that MBA in 70 hours. 70 hours teaching, online teaching, and they are claiming that they will prepare you MBA in startups. But I know that the right question will be how you can call it MBA. You can call it a certificate program, a diploma program, an experiential program. You cannot call it MBA. So I think that EdTech is likely to face big bubble burst if There are no regulation, proper regulation, because many of the players are coming from coaching industry. Like Baiju, they are coming from coaching industry. So you cannot grow sustainably unless you follow some moral, ethical code of conduct. Thank you.
Dr. Chaturvedi, you know, if you know Dr. Chaturvedi, he's very calm, composed, relaxed. For the first time, I saw a little bit of more than passion in him. And I think that pretty much talks about his values, because he thinks that something unethical might happen. And I think that's my take from his answer. To be honest with you, there are a bunch of edtechs which are coming, and you know, a lot of them want people like us to be associated with them. And I see when you're in the private equity space, there are things which will go right and there are things which will go wrong. You know, the Subiksha will happen. Only then will Reliance Retail happen. Baiju has to happen, then only something else will happen. By the way, Baiju's has really acquired Akash, which is a very, very large offline player in the marketplace. They are learning, money is coming in, regulation is going to be tighter, but we have to be prepared for this. And I think that's what you said, that, you know, it's going to be there, and, you know, we have to be prepared. I have to be prepared. All of you have to be prepared for this one. Dr. Metri, this one is for you. You know, what do you think about, of course, you're with the IM system, you work with private business schools like the IMIs and the MDIs of the world. You know, when I see, and I'll be very honest with you, when I see and my industry colleagues talk to me, hey, there's a school, there's a course from Warden, and it's going to cost about 10, 12 lakhs. You know, why should I invest in a 30 lakhs program in XYZ school? And why should I spend 2 years on it? Of course, you know, I can do it remotely. Why do I need to go and see somebody, etc.? Those are the kind of things that we continue to start to hear. And of course, you know, there's huge amount of marketing and there's a lot of investment getting into something like that. What are the IAM system? How is the IAM system actually working on to counter some of this? Because you have a role to play in the society too, like what Dr. Chaturvedi said. You are also not an educator, but you're also a proponent of what the regulation and what the government wants to do for the well-being of this country. Is there something that, you know, you as a director of the school, or you as an elite panel of IM directors are thinking about? What's your view on that?
Thank you, Vipul. I think this already changes are happening, even IIM system as well as the government of India, NEP, National Education Policy 2020. I think what Professor Chaturvedi said, you know, light and tight, that kind of governance is going to come. And any such things are to be handled properly. That is one thing. But when it comes to online education and also the borderless, you know, anybody can take admission. Also, 100 top institutions come to India, and India's top 100 can go to other places. So online education already, if you look at IIM Kochi Code, it is online MBA is already there. And many IIMs have started certificate programs. Apart from that, there are dual degree programs. You know, for example, we made with University of Lille dual degree program. Our 5 students have joined to University of Lille, France. So they will get 2 degree from 2 countries with less than 20 lakh rupees. So otherwise, if a students can go to India and get the MBA, he may spend 40 to 50 lakh rupees. But with the Indian IIM joining and dual degree doing, so it is half of that. So those kind of changes are happening, and technology full advantage has been taken by many of the IIMs and even many of the top schools in non-IIM system also. So that is going to give a result. These changes are happening and results are also coming. But governance is concerned, I am sure light and tight it is mentioned, and already, you know, Government of India, you might be knowing, Finance Minister has kept 500 crore rupees for a scheme called Merite, MERITE. It is a multidisciplinary education and technical education. It is focusing on technical education. They have made 7 special groups. So I'm part of the effective governance 7 special groups Ministry of Education has named. So in this direction, the work is going on at various levels, right from government of India at Ministry of Education and 2 regulatory UGC and ICT. It is happening.
Actually, I'm a little intrigued about something which is happening, and I'm sure this would have crossed your minds also. And this is for you, Professor Metri. I'm sorry I'm asking you the second one. I once asked a very renowned educator, and you know who I asked. You know, you have a finance head in your school. You have your admin head. You have a transport head. You have a dean for academics. And you know, you have an administrative officer. Why is it that the business school does not have a CHRO?
No, we
Why
have.
you know, you are in the business of creating talent, and you do not have somebody to manage your own talent. And that's why, you know, it's intrigued me. I wanted to.
No, we have, if you ask me, I am Nagpur, we have within the I am.
No, not about I am Nagpur, I'm talking about in general.
But many, even I must tell you that under CAO, there is a HR department. Maybe title is different, we call HR, but CHRO title is not there, but HR departments are also there within the IIM system or even some of the top institutions. And also, you know, many of the IIMs are running companies, Section 8 companies. I am Nagpur recently, we have now 2 companies. One is entrepreneurship, another one is logistic infrastructure and project management. So, and HR is the one recruit all those things. It has to be done through HR only. So earlier it was not there, but now slowly, but they are at a different level as far as governance is concerned, not at, you know, CEO level. As a part of CEO team, the HR is there.
So I have a point of view, and I you know, because it's my function, you know, you need to have a seat on the table. And once my boss, Mr. S. Ramakrishnan, he was the second guy who got centum in GMAT. He became he got into the board of Tata Sons at the age of 32, etc. Visionary, crazy guy. You know, I am Ahmedabad topper. I am IIT Chennai topper. So he asked me that, Vipul, you know, we are looking at a circle HR leader, and you know, I want to put him at one level lower. And what do you think about it? So I told Mr. Ramakrishnan, I said, I never call him sir, I never call him SR. That I used to call him Mr. Ramakrishnan. I told him, Mr. Ramakrishnan, HR is a position-based organization. You need to empower the person irrespective of the level that person is, so that he gives the right advice to the business. And that's something that, you know, you have a seat on the table. You should definitely consider, and you know, not only for your school, but for, you know, you should talk to the regulators also to have something around this. What do you all think, guys? Ravi, this one is for you. You know, in an era where classrooms are filled with cameras, projectors, laptops, smart whiteboards, etc. You know, I personally think, I want to just shift a little. You know, I somehow think that technology will never replace a great teacher. Absolutely. I think a great teacher is what will determine the quality, because at the end of the day, they are the delivery masters. You know, what is it that you are thinking in your school, and what is it that the educators should start thinking, so that, you know, they're able to balance touch with technology? Because I'll tell you why I'm saying this. The HR departments, the finance departments are today so driven by cost and with technology. Everything say, hey, you know, build a bot. Like I have 88 bots which work on my team. Anything which happens, I tell my team, hey, just build a bot. The bot will do it for you. And at some point of time, we miss out the human angle of it. I see that risk also coming from a cost, availability of talent, and availability of talent at the right place, impacting something like you all. What is it that you all are thinking of around that space?
I think you have answered that. Teacher cannot be replaced by any kind of technology. But yes, at SIBM, what we are trying to look at is balance technology and touch and tech both. While tech intervention in terms of content design and content delivery is infused big time, but this developing learning communities driven by the faculty members, having those experiential labs, which are again driven by the faculty members, this experimentation, trying new things, going into the field, having something. We have introduced a concept called Shodh Yatra. So we actually go into the hinterlands, headed by a faculty member, and the students would go and learn. So if it is entrepreneurship, we look at the frugal entrepreneurship in the rural areas, especially in sectors which are, agri or agri-tech related. Similarly, if it is rural marketing, we actually deep dive into the rural markets and to see the consumption behavior, the buying behavior, and so on and so forth. These cannot be replaced by any technology. But technology has to augment, as in the earlier panel, Subir was suggesting. The technology has to augment this whole idea of learning. Now, what is required for us? In fact, education sector in the last few decades, have been not very great on innovation part. So here is the time we have to reimagine the entire structure. In fact, the idea of design thinking has to be applied in reimagining the education system in terms of its structure, design, and governance, and obviously the technology part. So how you are going to design your curriculum, deliver your curriculum, and ensure that you balance the tech part and that's the challenge for us. We are all in the transition, so nobody has a definite solution. In fact, this is the question which keeps us awake. What next? How do we go about? Believe me, we, especially business schools, we are at a juncture, I would say, at a tipping point. If we don't kind of move quickly into proper design and delivery modes, perhaps we may lose out on the competition, and landscape of competition also is shifting. You don't have the next, say, BIMTech is a competition for Symbiosis. You may actually see Geo coming in as a competitor, with the best of the technology and best of the delivery model, and also giving you all the immersive AI ML based, and giving you so-called campuses which are can be used for immersive learning. The students can actually go spend time there and work on experiential labs and all that. So we have to quickly move on in that direction. As institutions, these are questions which are keeping awake.
I'm going to be conscious of time for two reasons. My first boss, Mr. Kohli, is going to be in the room, and I don't want him to wait. Second reason, I don't want him to hear me speak, because I'm going to be a little stressed out. So please don't tell this to Mr. Kohli, but that's true. So I'm going to be really fast. This is for you, Dr. Srivastav. If I look at your school, your school has a bunch of engineers, your school have a bunch of management graduates, commerce, sports. For me, that shows holistic, education. Just so that a lot of you do not know, of course, Ashanti knows this. I played grade cricket for India. When I say grade cricket, means age group cricket. People like Rahul, Saurav, Ajay, Javgal Shri, Venki Prasad, Vivek Razdan, etc. And I played together. Unfortunately for them, I was their leader. I led the team in 1986 to Sri Lanka. So, I can really understand the role of sports that plays. Thank you. The role of sports that, how it shapes leadership potential, how it harnesses talent, etc. How are you able to marry, some of the different courses that you have? How are you able to leverage that in terms of upskilling your talent, not only from a student standpoint, but also from the educator standpoint? Any views, any thoughts you have?
Well, I am also conscious of time, and I can speak on this as long as you want me to speak, because
please keep it short, but
yes,
I don't want to support you.
So I must say that this national education policy, it has given a completely different perspective to all the educational institutions, and so far what we have heard and known, ECA, extracurricular activity, the E is taken away. Now it is an integral part of entire course curriculum. And in our university, we integrate sports in such a manner that if you want to pursue a course in any sports sciences, you are most welcome. And multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary approaches are also taking a very different shape. And we also promote that how we are nurturing a holistic personality in the university. And this new education policy has given a completely different plethora of perspective to a university system. We are truly enriched, and especially sports. You see, we are nurturing especially 5 sports in our university from past 10 years. And I'm happy to share that 2 of our students, they also represented our country in Tokyo Olympics this time. And we have a dream that next Olympic, at least we should have 1 medal from our university.
I wish in universities like Manav Rachna existed when I was playing.
For India first.
Yes.
For India.
For our country, sir.
I was saying that I wish universities like Manav Rachna existed when I was a little younger. Maybe somebody would have funded or sponsored me and, would have helped a lot of people. But that's very close to my heart. That's why I had to ask this question. This was not to tell you all what my background was, but I just, it just came out very spontaneously from me. So I'm sorry, I digress a little bit from the topic. This would have ideally been for Dr. Metri, but I think there's some great work that private education institutions are doing. 3 minutes hai mujhe malum hai. So I will ask this to Dr. Chaturvedi. I was reading some data, which is March 2021 from the Ministry of HRD, that there are 39,822 vacancies in top central universities and IIMs. However, the vacancy percentages in private schools is only about 16%. And that's why, you all are doing a great job in terms of experimenting and taking some risks, which the government institutions, because of the regulatory background, are not able to do. Is there something that, you think has benefited because of the risk and experiments that you're doing? And, how has that translated into talent getting into the market?
I think private institutions have certain advantages in recruiting talent, spotting talent, and retaining talent, because they are not bound by cumbersome procedures, rules, and regulations. Whereas the government,
clap on this.
Government universities, government owned institutions like IIT and IIMs, they have to work under a lot of procedures, lot of rules and regulations. And here, I would like to say that both the government rules should change, and private sector institutions should also not follow the hire and fire attitude. And times of crisis, they should not the shift of the financial losses only to the teachers and employees. So I would like to say that the good progressive private universities and private B schools will definitely take advantage of innovations in recruitment. I know one of the private university which is in the formative years, which has gone to all over the country to recruit talent. This was very innovative 10 years ago, that you should not expect that people will come, talent will come to you only. Better you should go to all parts of the country, even outside the country, and recruit the talent. So I would like to conclude by saying this, that recruitment, spotting the talent and recruitment of talent, nurturing the talent, retaining the talent is it should be one of the priority of the CEO and top management.
Thank you very much. I know Mr. Srivastva, I wanted to close it off, but Mr. Srivastva has a point of view and we should respect that.
Not really a point of view when today we are celebrating Dr. Singh's birthday. One of his biggest learning to us, and he used to say that leadership is all about examination. And I wish to quote Srimad Bhagavad Gita to finish this session. He used to say that up to chapter 10, Arjun never believed Lord Krishna. He said, आप जो कुछ भी कहते हैं उसको मैं सच मानता हूं, पर वो सच है कि नहीं ये इसने नहीं कहा. And he said that Arjun ने भगवान का टेस्ट लिया, and when Lord showed him his विश्वरूप, विराट रूप, और उसके बाद विराट रूप में हम लोग की काफी बात होती थी, और it goes in chapter 11, verse 43, it says, Tomadi Deva Purusha Purana, Tomasta Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, Veta Si Vetam Cha Param Cha Dhamam, Toyatutam Vishwa Ananta Rupa. Vayurya Mogni Varuna Shashanka, Prajapratistam Prapita Mahasya, Namo Namaste Stu Sahasra Kritva, Punasya Bhuyopi, Namo Namaste, Namo Namaste. और इन्हीं वर्सेस के साथ हम डॉक्टर सिंह को नमन करते हैं और गीता को भी याद करते हैं. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had to really push it a little hard, and that was not my objective. That was not my design. I asked a bunch of questions, which are a little more than what I would have actually ideally gone, but I wanted to cover a larger landscape. Thank you very much. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you once again for coming over. I want to just close this off by just saying one small piece. I think today's International Men's Day. A lot of people, we talk about a few things. So I want to wish every man in this room. Also, I want to wish the greatest alpha male in my life, which is my father, Dr. Singh, on behalf of my entire family. I want to thank you all for coming over and express my gratitude. And I hope that we will meet more often than what we have done. Thank you.